break because I haven't had any me time in a few days. How are you doing? The weather here is fabulous, and I'm staying by Disneyland, and every night there's fireworks that go off at like 9:30 at night right outside my window. So one of these days I'm going to stream live for that. Let me try to get this phone set up. Let's see. Ah, how are you guys? This is the first break I've taken in many days, and I've even been driving like a lot, like from county to county. So I wonder if the phone's gonna last. So I had one scammy apartment that was trying to get me to get a more expensive apartment than the one I drove like almost 2 hours each way to see. So that was disappointing. And then I drove to another entirely different county and looked at a place, and it was like very tiny. So now I'm actually considering the first place that I saw, which is a purchase for a condo, and it's really, really exciting. So we'll see. I'm waiting to hear back because it does need some remodel, some upgrade, and so I'm looking for some money off the price. Not that much, just something. And so we'll see what they say. And if they agree, then it'll be a very fast escrow. It'll be a very fast escrow. And then there'll be some remodel. So that's actually exciting to me because then I get to pick things that I like. It's just kind of overwhelming, taking care of my mom and then having to like do some remodel stuff, but I don't think I'm gonna go like way overboard. I'm just gonna do like essential things. So I'll keep you posted on that if that happens. And let's see, let's find a nice jet. Oh, let's see if I can see your comments. I kinda can, but I kinda can't. This feels great. I really needed this. So I really needed this to be able to like go on with, now my voice is going, ah. Here, let me move away from the jet. In order to be able to cope with all of the work that I have to do, as far as every day I have to see my mom in the hospital, and she's making amazing progress. Hopefully it stays that way because, she is very old, my mother. And it was one thing after another since she got the pacemaker. It was her blood pressure was low, and then they got that normal. And then it was her kidneys, and it's like now her kidneys are hopefully doing fine because, I go and I sit there like 5 hours a day. So I get I go during doctor hours, so I get updates on that. I mean, it's just kind of overwhelming, like thinking, gosh, I guess I shouldn't think about like daily, like how am I going to still live in a hotel while I have a few upgrades done before we move in and get our furniture delivered. But you know what? Why am I worried about it? Because we made it this far, and I'm not sure if, I guess the thing that I'm a little concerned is my mom was doing fine with the walker, walking to the bathroom. now she's going to need rehabilitation. And so I was able to like go do a few things that we needed to do, like market and laundry. But if she needs me to assist her to walk, then how am I going to do anything? So I guess that's what's going through my mind. So this hospital is really great. I picked the best one in California, literally. Um, and I'm going to, see what they say, because they might want her to be in a rehab. So as much as I miss her and know that she would do better next to me, I can't be there 24/7. So I'm hoping that they're going to offer a rehab so she could start walking again. And that way it would be a lot easier to be able to go do the things that I have to do, let alone like work a job, you know what I mean? So that's like out of the question. So that's why I work, from home basically, or from hotel. And I can do like side gig jobs, so I could do those. But no, I do pretty well, like working, independently. So it's been like that all my life. Nothing has really changed with that. Let me get out for a second and see if I can read any of your comments. I always like to know who I'm talking to. I'll go in the shade. All right. Let's see, what did I miss? Hi, The Who. I can't read all of your exact names. I guess I came on at a time when everybody's at work, right? And here I am talking about work and work from home and needing a job, but you can't because you take care of your mom from home. Luckily, I have a little bit of money, right? But I gotta make sure that I don't run out of money and that I am able to, stop the budget bleed. The budget bleed is living in hotels, obviously. It's way more expensive to live in hotels than it is to pay rent or pay a mortgage, providing that you make reasonable decisions. And so you could save, I could save a couple $1,000s a month, by getting out of the hotels right away. That's why I was trying to get an apartment, because I couldn't make up my mind on buying. There's only so much I could work with on buying. My budget isn't like crazy. I can't afford that beach house yet, but I can afford to be within a driving distance from the beach. So the main thing that I'm working on now is getting my mom better, taking care of myself, getting my mom better, and securing a place to live ASAP. So that's what I'm doing. And it doesn't feel overwhelming, I might have said that, but the part about my mom recovering, and these doctors are really patient. They're not gonna just send her home if she can't walk with her walker. They're gonna make sure she goes to rehab. I'm pretty sure about that, because they mentioned that as a possibility. So I know it'll all work out. It's always one day at a time. Life is one day at a time anyway. Even if you've got you own a house outright and you own your cars outright. I own my car outright, luckily. I don't have any payments. I'm pretty much debt free. This is the first time in my life in a long time that I could say that I am completely debt free, because I didn't owe credit cards, but I did owe on my house. My house had a mortgage, so that's debt. So I wasn't completely debt free. That was the only thing that I had, that was the only debt I had, the only payment I had. Um, I've had these earrings on. They're so light. These are my travel earrings this time. It's like they're light. They don't weigh down on my ears. They're cute. They're like little sterling silver. Kind of like Paisley's in a way. Kind of like the tree of life, but like a teardrop shape. So I haven't been really doing much as far as I still have the same pedicure before I left, and I haven't had my nails painted since before I left Nevada and moved back to California. So let's see, we actually technically left my residence, my mom, the cat, and I, on July 4th at around, I don't know, I think it was like 4 p.m. So I didn't close escrow until a few days later because I wanted to get out and wrap things up properly and get it all clean and nice for them when I deliver the house. And it went really well. So we've technically been on the road since July 4th. It's not that long, and I had several nights free that I already had waiting for me, and then I accumulated a few free nights since I got here, and I got some really great deals. I definitely got some really good deals, and it took like hours to find. It was like this place that I'm in now. It took me I want to say like 12 hours literally of just, because it was one night for like 3-4 hours and another night for 3 hours, just like analyzing what hotels have what amenities. And having a hot tub is a really big amenity to me, because if I'm going to pay over $4,000 a month, I want to have some kind of pleasure and not just be a slave to labor, you know. Let me get some of this water. I'm surprised the phone's still okay. All right. Now I can barely see you. The phone's getting black. But you can see me. Thank you. Thank you very much for sticking with me on my journey. Let's see. I felt a little queasy this morning, but then I just did some self-care and I feel better. And today I don't have driving except just to see my mom at the hospital. And that's very close by. Like, even if she gets out of this hospital, if she gets out, when she gets out, I kind of maybe want to stick around, maybe stay here until I go to the final destination, which is an apartment, a condo, a house. So hopefully I'll be able to get out within like 3 weeks, hopefully. And, you know, depending on, because when you get a place, then you got to turn on the utilities, and you have to have the furniture delivered. Well, you have to clean it. So you turn on the utilities, and then you clean it, and then you have the furniture delivered. And you could like sleep there the day you have the furniture delivered, because I made sure all the linens were all washed and properly put away in the boxes. So the day the furniture is delivered, you could sleep there. You just go from like the hotel to, you know, you might have to like overlap one night at the hotel, actually, when the furniture is delivered. I personally wouldn't have to, but since I have my mom, I will probably have to overlap, because I won't have the furniture set up until, you know, at night probably, if you think about it, because it probably depends on what time they deliver it. So, but she's not like me. She just can't handle. She has congestive heart failure. She's had